Welcome back to the AL Central Rundown. I'm Eric, and with me today is Lee, Ty, Sam, and Dan. With a little caveat, Sam has new internet, so maybe enjoy him while you can. Take on
Well,
taking all of the Sam you would like right now because he's not promised to be here later.
yeah,
So, with that, for a week that has had almost no player additions, like literally like no major league signings. It's been kind of a busy week, especially when you see that we're at an end of an era with these regional sports networks, because that just came out the other day. So we'll talk about that in a minute. And then Jose Ramirez loves Cleveland. And then we got arbitration trials, which is actually quite a bit for the division, who I don't think has that many trials in general. But now there's 4 players in the division that are going to arbitration trials. So that's interesting. And then the last half, we're just talking tier lists. So I have intentionally not done this. This has been Ty and Lee's thing. I'm kind of pretty excited for it. So we're just gonna go over tier lists in the last half. So, but to start off, regional sports networks are dead. Yesterday, Main Street Sports, who are also known by Fanduel as the regional sports network, MLB has canceled all of their deals for Atlanta, Cincinnati, Detroit, Kansas City, the Angels, Miami, Milwaukee, St. Louis, and Tampa Bay. This sparks because initially in December, Main Street Sports did not make their payment to the Cardinals. And then in January, they have not made maybe any payments to any of the NBA teams that they cover, or in some of the NFL, NHL teams. And it initially came out earlier this week that MLB was maybe debating canceling the contract, and then the next day they terminated the current contract. What I will say is whatever happens with FanDuel, just because the contract is terminated does not mean that teams will not renegotiate a new deal. It just means their current deals are over. So take with that what you will. I thought it would be kind of interesting just to go over kind of what a nightmare this has been since COVID. And I don't know how much people really understand, like, how comically pathetic this company that has took over these RSNs has been. So I thought it would be kind of fun over that. But initial thoughts, Lee and Sam, welcome to free agency.
mm.
You don't have TVs anymore. Dan and I last year were in the same boat. I think it was for the better. What are your guys' initial reactions to not having FanDuel?
What was your what? Because I kind of want to know, Lee. What was your opinion on the service that FanDuel TV was? Like,
It was I did not like it because I don't know why. At some point they started doing this thing where every time the team scored or like got an extra base hit, the screen would shrink and there would be a giant ad added on top
mhm.
of it. And we had lots of technical difficulties and there's that ugly bar at the bottom too for the score bug. So I would prefer to have it switched to like what all the other teams are doing with like where's this Tigers TV because I did not enjoy the product that FanDuel had particularly.
Yeah, there were a lot of banner ads on FanDuel TV for sure.
And also, like, just I mean, I watched Twins TV, but like when I was watching the Tigers or the Royals, there was just like, I mean, I know we've talked ad nauseum just how much gambling has taken over the sport, but you just want to throw up when you hear like, "Ooh, get your parlay for the 7th inning. Will Justin Henry Malloy strike out on the 3rd pitch?" Like, I don't fucking care. Like, what are we doing?
The
So I
the
hated
one
it.
that got the one that got me on that is the score bug for FanDuel before they had Bally's. I remember when that first came out. It's first of all, it's not a very good score bug. It looks like it was made, I don't know, not very well.
Yeah.
But it's got that long strip on the end. You've got, team score, and then long strip. And I remember when that first came out, I went, they are totally gonna put like odds
Hmm.
in that
Yeah.
section. And lo and
Hmm.
behold, I'm watching hockey this winter. And first of all, they do use it for good things because they would show like how long the players have been on the ice. That was cool. But then that flips and you get anytime goal scorer plus 200, Adam Fantilli or whoever. Like they went ahead and they integrated that in, and I knew they would. But like it's ongoing all the time, right there. You could bet on this right now, and just frustrating to no end.
I think what got
Yeah.
Well,
frustrating when the Twins had it was like they tried what that's I didn't like the score bug either, but like whatever. It was at the bottom of the screen, but like they did use that section in the bottom right corner for an awful lot. Probabilities, ads, lineups, like stats. Like there was so much going on in that little corner. It didn't distract from the game, but like kind of distracted from the game a little bit.
Yeah.
well, and I
Also,
think
no.
if we want to complain about being bombarded by ads and being specifically bombarded by ads for gambling, I mean, we could apply that to our whole modern society, really.
That's
You know,
fair.
I think for me, FanDuel TV and previously Bally, the app interface was really bad. Um, just the way it was. Whoever web designed that didn't do a very good job. It was very clunky, very cumbersome. It's just I just don't understand how you get that wrong in our modern, age of technology that we're in. So I'm hopeful that wherever it goes next, it can just be through MLB TV and we can just watch it on, something like that.
Can I just
Yeah.
build off of
Also,
that? Go ahead. Go ahead, Lee.
no, it's just because, just for this past year, I guess, for the when the basketball hockey season started, me and my dad upgraded to the annual subscription so we could watch the Pistons and the Red Wings down there. All right, so now we're just fucked, I guess, because we can't. Where are we gonna watch the hockey and basketball now? Are we gonna need 3 different things to watch 3 different sports? That's annoying.
Yeah.
So
Well, and I buy it the last couple years. I've bought it just at the beginning of the season. They have like, the $100 deal for, season pass for FanDuel. And I split it between me and my sister. So we each pay $50 and we get to watch the Royals the whole year, which I think that's a fine deal. I think that's a perfectly acceptable, if you just want to watch one team, I don't think that's a bad, you know,
Mhm.
that's a lot cheaper than a lot of other streaming
Right.
services.
It
And you're
comes
going
down
to
to
get a
like
lot more
$20 a
content
month.
out of that than you will, insert streaming service here. I don't know. It's something that it feels like something we should have had figured out in our society a while ago.
Yes.
And I can tell you from personal experience, the field I work in, I work in not in this space specifically, but in the world of television. And, every person who I've talked to who's like a 30, 40-year veteran in the TV news media space always has some story where 20 years ago they told us this wouldn't be around in 10 years,
Mhm.
and I think it's interesting that we haven't figured out a better way of doing this, and it's still the old model.
Yep. And just to like, I'm not going to give like a a really long backstory. Actually, if you're looking for, there's some good stuff on YouTube. Brody Brazil is pretty good at breaking this down. If anybody's watched him, he doesn't really cover sports at all. But he has a couple of videos just on this topic specifically, and that's where I took some of this from. But just really like this has been, I mean, for 30 years it was regional sports networks. Even like the Twins even had their own sports network for a while, and then Fox Sports North brought them out in the early 2000s, and that was just the way to go. It also came at a point where the NFL had great national TV rights deals, and MLB decided to go with these regional deals, and regional networks wanted baseball because it covers up a whole lot of programming that came up, and they would offer teams, 30, $40 million a year by the end. But really after COVID, when people started cutting the cord, this really started coming to a head. You had so once Fox Sports was bought out by Disney, because Disney owned ESPN and now Fox Sports, because that was considered a monopoly, they were forced to sell. And I don't think Disney could have paid that judge any more to like perfect timings. Like I'm sure Disney was like, yep, that's fine. Don't want anything to do with these regional networks. So then they sold it to Sinclair Broadcasting, which they themselves are kind of, you know, pencil mustache villains themselves. They do not have a stellar reputation, but they bought them and then partnered with Bally, and they took over. But they also assumed the old contracts. Well, then they took, Sam already talked about their app. They removed a lot of the cord cutting streaming apps, YouTube TV, like they removed that as an option so that people would be forced to use their app. Only, as Sam said, their app was really crappy. It wasn't a good app. And then there was bugs in it. It was just wonky the entire time. And they ended up losing like Scrooge McDuck money in a very short amount of time. They went into bankruptcy where the contracts that they said they were so advantageous that they had to drop them completely, or they needed to renegotiate in order to survive as a company. And they let them do that. And for some reason, nobody had like a follow-up question, but like they had, once they bought out they were bought out and like saved last year. And then they rebranded from Diamond Sports Network and Bally to Main Street Sports, and then partnered with Fanduel, but it was really the same dudes running it. And this year in 2025, they lost $200 million. So Lee, those annoying little ads that you had at the bottom of your screen did nothing to help their improvement. Like, and that was 2 years in a row. They're probably going back to bankruptcy court. And I think MLB rightfully said, you know what, screw it. Like, there's no reason to trust we're going to get our money from these guys anyway. There are already 6 teams that MLB is already broadcasting. Let's just take the 9. That's half the league. He's going to have to bundle them up at the end of these contracts anyway, and just move on. Like, Manfred gets a lot of grief, but I think this is 100% the right call.
I think I will say, this is one of the things that I think Manfred has done a really good job with.
Yep.
And his commitment to, making sure that games are broadcast and making sure that fans have the ability to watch their team, I think is one of the things that he's really done right in his tenure.
And like, which we should also point, like, everyone's going to say, like, I can hear you from your car radios right now, but what about the blackouts? That's not Manfred's call. Like, this is still a holdover from these RSNs. Like, Manfred does not want blackouts. He has said that before in the past. It doesn't make sense why in 2026 people cannot watch their favorite sports team because it's in their market, because you expect people in Iowa to drive to Chicago or Minnesota because they're too close to the stadium and they want the attendance revenue. Like, that's absurd at this point to think that people are going to do that. Well, it's also funny, and I don't know, Ty, how much you heard of this, but if you were in Iowa and you were a Twins fan and you were just a baseball fan, you could not watch the White Sox, the Cubs, the Twins, the Brewers, the Cardinals, or the Royals because you were in Iowa and you were too close. You were part of their region. You're asking people to not watch the sport. So, I mean,
you're asking people not to give you their money. Right? You're asking people to, because people want to watch their team and they're willing to pay money to do it. And then when there's blackouts, you're basically saying, oh, no, we don't want your money.
Right. Well, it's also what I forgot to mention this too. So the Twins were one of the first teams. So like the Padres were the first one to drop, and they were initially under MLB's broadcast. But the Twins were like that next tier of generation where they initially, their contract expired, but then they re-upped with Bally or Diamond Sports at the time. And then a month into 2024, Bally and Comcast, their deal expired, and they had a pissing contest between each other, and Comcast didn't carry the Twins for like 3 months. And if anybody remembers the 2024 season for the Twins, they had a atrocious start for the first month. Then it was the contract took them off the air. The Twins went on a winning streak where literally had the best record in a 3-month stretch over baseball. And by the time they came back in August, they had historically bad collapse. So if you were just watching on DirecTV or Comcast, you saw the Twins start horribly and even worse and nothing good in between. And that wasn't like the Twins were not unique in that whole thing. Like it was comically bad for the last 3 or 4 years that these morons took on these RSNs thinking they could save it with their stupid little app that nobody liked, but because they had exclusive rights, they flexed their muscles and took it away, and now they're going to bankruptcy court twice in a year. I don't feel bad for these people. You're morons. You should all quit and never be in this industry again. Idiots.
Well, and
To
the
your
other
point-
thing is, go ahead, Dan.
To your point, the one thing that does well on television still is sports.
Yes.
Mhm.
So for this to be the thing that like you got bankrupt
How do
putting
you
on
lose money
television,
on this? It's
yeah, it's almost like how do the Twins have $400 million in debt? But there's a lot that from the team standpoint here. I feel like this was a really good business plan until it wasn't.
Yeah.
Like for them, a little bit of foresight to see that these cable companies, this wasn't the amount of money that they were being paid hand over fist wasn't going to be sustainable in the long run, probably would have solved some issues in the long run. But I understand that you want that bundle of cash every year because you're trying to run your team and you're trying to run a business, basically. My frustration with all of this, though, is now you've got half the league that's just not going to have a TV contract. You're going to get people paying direct to consumer, which is great. I actually really liked MLB TV service last year. I think the league will be better able to integrate even more teams into that now with the ESPN infrastructure they're going to have at their disposal. Still some details on how that's going to all work out, but the premise of it, I really liked the service. It was great. My frustration is you got the other half of the league who just happen to get lucky and pick businesses that haven't failed yet or
Or
aren't
they
going,
own their own.
or they own their own. And so, like Ty, I think it's the Cubs that
we
are
share a
on.
network with the Bulls, both under Jerry
Okay.
Reinsdorf.
So perfect example. And so now, sorry to pick on you, Ty, but the White Sox have an advantage over everybody else. Not only do they have literally just more people that have TV sets in their area, but now they're getting this TV money that none of us are getting as well. And
wasn't
I
it all
kind of
messed up last year with the White Sox? Because I remember my aunt complaining about it. She had an antenna installed for it, and then she couldn't watch the games like 3
The
months
end
in.
of the 24 season, I believe it was, before CHSN ended up going live. There were a bunch of issues regarding, I believe it was Comcast. So yeah, but I mean, now there were a lot of growing pains for April, May, but I guess my one piece to add to all of this, at some point, is it just all the teams owning their own? I don't know if they have the infrastructure
I
to
think
do
it'll
it.
be the opposite. I think
I think the
MLB
league
will
owns
own
it,
all.
right? Yeah.
I think because I think that's what. I mean, this is where like the fans
But
and the owners are going to end up agreeing. All but like the Dodgers, the White Sox, and the Yankees.
the
All
Dodgers
the
are not
MLB
going to
owners
go
like they're going
quietly
to
into that
have to
night.
do a revenue share. Like
Yeah.
it's not like Manfred is like what Manfred wants to do is make everyone a free agent and then sell all 30 teams to Netflix or whatever to whatever whoever want like to the highest bidder. And like the reality is the Packers they have half the league right now. And I don't want to disparage my team as part of this, but like the half of the league that's available nobody really gives a shit about. It's the Yankees,
they're available
the
for a
Dodgers.
reason.
Yes, like those are the names that are going to sell the big package.
That's literally how the Twins and Guardians ended up in this position before the other 19. The decision was made. We're going to get rid of these teams because
Yes.
they're less profitable, and that's the restructuring we're going to do for our bankruptcy. Like,
Answer me this though, Dan. If there was a network that you could subscribe to that had the Guardians, the Cavaliers, like that kind of thing, would you go for that?
yeah, I would. It would
Rather
depend.
than, sorry,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead.
I was going to say I really liked. I bought the full MLB package last year and loved it. So it would we're getting into details. The easy answer here is yes, Ty. I would be very interested in that.
Well, also, I think
what I believe when you talk, Eric, about going like MLB doing the whole thing, I think it's less sustainable. The sustainable option is sell to your city. Sports fans are typically not just fans of
That's
one sport in that city. You're going to be fans of multiple.
I
So if you package them all together, you know what your market is, you know what your audience is, and you sell to them, it's more sustainable.
right, but I think like where I'll kind of push back on that a little bit is that these don't have to be exclusive to just Netflix. Like you can sell it to multiple partners, and also they are going to bundle teams together. Like I guarantee it. Like they're going to sell it to in-market apps or like new app. Like that will 100% happen.
And it also makes the experience worse for the user, the fan then. So we have to
Well,
figure out, are we on Prime Video tonight? Are we on Apple TV tonight? Are we on, right?
I mean, yes, but like, what's the difference between am I on? Are the Lions on Fox today or are they on ESPN? Like it's the same thing. Like it's just instead of switching channels, you're switching to streaming services. Like yes, there will be a clunkiness, but I also kind of think like ESPN is probably going to get a lot of these. Like there's other apps that are going to get these rights where I can see where your concern is. I don't believe the reality is like they're going to sell it and not like the whole point is for it not to be necessarily exclusive. I don't believe.
I think stuff should be on cable. I think you should be able to turn on your new cable and just be able to find your sports teams on there rather than having to Google which streaming service you have to pay in order to be able to watch whatever team.
Right.
I think it's like football figured this out. How come everyone else is still trying to do whatever? Like you could just turn on YouTube TV and you could watch the football games.
Right.
Like you should be able to watch your local baseball team on cable. I think I don't know. I don't like streaming services on principle, I guess. I think
It's not a. It's the other thing is it's not a new problem, right?
Right.
The death of cable TV, the death of traditional, linear television has been going on for the last how long? 10, 15 years? I mean, I can't remember when we got Netflix for the first time in my house, but at that point we got it so that DVDs could be mailed to us. So it's just a different landscape, and this has been going on for quite a while. So, like I said earlier, it's malpractice that this was not figured out earlier.
Yes.
but don't forget who holds the most. I mean, what age group in this country holds the most wealth? It's
boomers.
the older folks.
Boomers. Yeah.
The older folks, right? Who is most averse to all this streaming and it's on what app today and blah 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 blah? Older folks. So they're not. It's not going to get. It has to be on cable still. It has to be. You're
For
not
now.
going to lose that remedy.
But also like, and not to be like dreary, or maybe this is maybe a little grotesque, but like that group gets smaller every day, and like 10 years from now, it
Hey, what group in our country likes baseball the most?
that's like that to me would be the bigger point, but also that's why these going away from regional sports I think is great, because you like part of the reason the NFL is so popular, it's national TV all of the time. Anyone can watch really any NFL game. I mean within reason, but like if you can do that for baseball.
I had to go over to my sister's house last night because I don't have Amazon Prime to watch that.
Sure, but you could get
Packers
Amazon
game.
Prime. Like, it's kind of my point. Like, it's more easily available to where, like, if you're, let's just say, a Tampa Bay Rays fan who lives in San Francisco, good luck without MLB TV, and even then, whatever.
I just think, radio still exists. It's not as nearly as popular as it was however many years ago, but it's still, you can still listen to games on the radio for that matter. So I don't think cable's ever going to die. I think it's going to have its.
Oh, I agree. I also think cable and satellite will adjust. Like, they're already adjusting. Like, DirecTV 10 years from now probably is not sending out satellites to your home. It's now an app it's purely an app on your phone.
Yeah.
And now it's basically no difference between Netflix and all of them. But who knows? But we have probably talked about this at nauseum, but also I kind of hope we don't have to talk about this again. Who knows? In general, I do really like that Diamond Sport or Main Street Main Street Sports is kind of dead. I don't feel bad for them. They deserve their fate. Let's and I do like that maybe these 15 teams now are part of now half of the league that go to ESPN, and like I don't know, I think it's a good thing in general, but time will tell. So moving on, we have, I mean, it's not really news. We did have some arbitration. Most of the teams settled, so we're just going to talk about those who didn't settle, and specifically one very big name with a very, very, very large gap. So with arbitration, the deadline to submit their deals or to make an agreement before was on Saturday. Everyone on your team agreed in the division except for on the Royals. Chris Bubich and Vinny Pasquantino are about either $1 million or $500,000 off from their team, so that'll probably split the difference between those. Joe Ryan is about $500,000 off from the Twins, but the big news in Detroit is Tarak Skubal filed a little bit more than what the Tigers offered him. So the Tigers offered $19 million for arbitration for Tarak Skubal. He countered with 32, which is only $13 million more than what the team offered. So Lee is having a bit of a moment with it.
Look, man, Tarak Skubal is not going to be on the Tigers a year from now. I think that's, at this point, this is what sold it for me. Because, first of all, I'm going to preface this with a little bit of just context. This is not, I do not necessarily agree with this. I'm just prefacing that. But these are facts. This is true. One, the record for a pitcher in arbitration is $19 million. That was 11 years ago. But still, point stands, $19 million in arbitration. The record in arbitration in general is 30 or 31. That was Shohei Ohtani. The most a player has ever gotten in a raise, right, is like 15 million. So the Tarak Skubal asking for 32 would be a raise of like 22 million, and it would be a record. My point is, it's unprecedented. My point is not necessarily that he's wrong. My point is that this is very new. Both things can simultaneously be true. Tigers lowballed him by $1 million, right? More than $1 million. You get my point. Skubal and Boris are also asking for a lot. Okay? Now, moving into that. Tigers don't want what are the Tigers doing? Like, they're just insulting him at this point. They offered David Price $19 million 11 years ago, and the guy didn't have 2 Cy Youngs. Like, what are we doing here? Like, I get that they don't want to set this kind of precedent in arbitration and be like, yes, pay them like you pay free agents, because whether you disagree with that or not, disagree with that. But that's not how arbitration works. That you can't. The team. I get that. You're offering him $19 million for he got 2 Cy Youngs. He's the best pitcher in the league. You gave Alex Cobb $15 million to pitch in Lakeview. Like, what are we doing? They don't want him on this team next year. That's what it seems like. They're just insulting him at this.
Can I offer a theory on this?
Shoot.
Now, I'm not 100% familiar with how arbitration hearings usually go down, but do they usually like meet somewhere in the middle?
They can, but no, during arbitration meetings, they just pick which one. Like, beforehand, they can like meet and say, like, the two parties can meet and like come to more of an agreement beforehand. But during the meeting, they choose one or the other. So like, if the arbitration committee decides that Skubal is worth 25 million, then he gets 19 million because that's closer to the Tigers' offer. But if they decide he's worth 27, he gets 32 because that's closer to that's kind of how I understand it.
Okay.
That's my understanding too. And that's where I really feel the Tigers made a mistake.
They could have offered him 25 million and then he would be getting 25.
I'm saying, like, you're basically asking the arbiter to side with Skubal to me. That is such a large, because like you're using precedents from 11, like any arbiter, and arbiters are not necessarily baseball fans. Like, to my understanding, they are still citing ERA and walks and like really basic pitching stats. An arbiter is just going to look at it as if it's. I mean, he could have just negotiated a factory contract for a factory union worker the day before. They don't even have to be a fan of MLB. They know that wages go up every year, and they can look at like what the Tigers are going to present and what Scott Boras is going to present. And they're going to say, well, the record is $19 million. That's why it was submitted. This is already a record-setting contract. Well, yeah, but that was 11 years ago. Or that was 10 years ago. So why wouldn't the second best pitcher in the world not get more than $19 million?
That's the thing. Yeah.
Because the only guy that got that 30 million was literally the best player in the world. I think Detroit's mistake here, though, was not posting like 21 million as opposed to 19.
I think they
Like
should have done
if
like
you go just a little bit more, like you have the argument won. I feel
Yeah.
like
Dan, I know
that higher of a raise is ridiculous, and I think that was Detroit's misstep in this.
See, and Dan, that's where like we actually agree, because to me, like I think Skubal's going to get the 32 million because Detroit didn't submit 23 million. I think if Detroit would have submitted 23 million, I feel like the arbiter would be more likely to side with the team.
Exactly.
And historically, arbiters do side with the team. But that's such a large gap. You're just like, well, yeah, he's the second best pitcher in the world. Look at the salaries of, Cole and all. Like that's what he's going to be compared with. But
yeah, the thing is, I don't want to talk about this too much because I feel like this could be a whole episode on its own about Skubal and all this. But I'm just gonna say the Tigers could have offered him 25, and
Agreed.
the conversation would be that Skubal and Boras are asking too much. That would be the conversation. If Tigers had asked 25, that would be a raise of 15, right? The conversation wouldn't be the Tigers are cheapskates and they're lowballing him, right? Like they could have controlled the narrative so much more, and they're just not doing that. I think it's very clear to me that Boras and Skubal are trying to set a precedent. I think that's been clear to me for a while.
100%. And that's where
Skubal
it's in
Boras'
Boras' best interest to do that. So I agree with you 100%. Like that, Boras isn't dumb. I know he has a negative trait with fans, and like he does have notable, Jordan Montgomery. He has notable clients that he has not done a service to, but in general, he gets his guys their money, and like he's not going to submit a number he doesn't think he can get.
Yeah, they're trying to set a precedent here.
Correct.
And I think they're going to get it because the Tigers are dumbasses, apparently. Like, unless they come to some kind of agreement beforehand, but I don't see that happening because the Tigers are a file and trial. Yeah,
my one note take on the issue. I know that the White Sox don't have to deal with ARB right now, but we might find ourselves in a similar situation a couple of years from now. What I would hope is that the players are getting paid what they should be paid for what they gave the team.
Sure.
And my personal opinion, for last year, Skubal earned the 32.
Yeah.
Well, you can quantify this. A WAR is consistently on the free agent market. Like you're paying $8 to $10 million per WAR earned. So Skubal, I don't know what his WAR was last year.
Something.
So like 6 times $8 million is $36 million. Like that's not outrageous. If anything, he was underpaid last year. Next year he could be underpaid, but yeah. Go ahead, Dan. I interrupted.
I just think, again, I think Detroit posts 21 million and they win this. I think it could be that low. But the other part of this is, Lee, the first thing out of your mouth was something along the lines of Skubal won't be back after this year. Arbitration is contentious. The teams literally go in front of the player and talk about why this person shouldn't be paid this money because they are bad at their job. That is what arbitration is. So I think you hit the nail on the head, Lee. Like the fact that Detroit was comfortable having this hearing means that that's it. The relationship after this year is over, in my opinion.
Yeah,
that can be very damaging to the relationship between the team and the player.
Skubal also posted on Instagram a picture of himself with the caption "business." So take with that what you will. It's it's done. He's not going to sign here. There's not going to be any goodwill between the two parties at this point. Next year, the Tigers could offer him $450 million. The Mets will offer $455, and he'll go and take the extra $5. That's just how it's going to happen. Like,
Lee,
no matter what the Tigers offer, someone else is going to
guarantee
offer
a trade?
more. No,
season?
I still don't think it guarantees a trade. I
Do
still
you think if he gets the 32, does a trade become more likely?
maybe, but I really
No.
don't think so. I still stand. I think it's more likely than it was a week ago, but I still don't think they're going to. I think they're still going to hold on to him and just hope for the best this year. Though they don't seem interested in signing anyone else, so I don't know what the fuck
Well, they
they're
just.
doing.
I know this is just a report. They were just linked to Giolito and to what's his face, another Giolito type pitcher, another $20 million pitcher. But
Yeah.
Lee, I think you're.
We
I
need
think
offense. We need something at offense.
Right.
Just like even just like a bench guy who will be one step better than Parker Meadows was last year. You know, something like that. Just improve the offense a bit because that's the part that struggled at the end of the season. And
Yeah,
a lot of people don't think that that's. We had so many players last year have career years. How many of those career years are going to carry over?
right.
Zach McKinstry earned more WAR than he had in his entire year combined. Javi Baez for the first good year in 4 years. Torque finally broke out. Is he going to stay that way? Like, there's so many players that just don't.
We've disagreed. We've disagreed before, and we'll continue. And that's that is what it is. I still think the starting rotation is the Tigers' biggest issue. Like the pitching staff in general. I guess you could say the bullpen in there too, but. I think they need pitching much more than they need offense. I would almost consider trading hitting for pitching if I feel like it's necessary. Because I don't Tarak Skubal, and then you hope Jarek Flaherty bounces back. And then you have Casey Mize, who had a nice year.
Reese Olson also did. He was injured.
Coming back from injury though. Like there are enough question marks in that rotation and bullpen that I would just be like I would lean more towards pitching than hitting, but
so like I will say if they sign like Lucas Giolito or a guy like that, or like a big I don't want a big name just for the sake of a big name, but like an actual player for multiple years. If they sign a starting pitcher for 2 to 3 years or more than that, I will be happy with that, and I will sit here and say this was a fairly good offseason. But I feel like I don't know. I'm just unsure about the offense, and that's the part that concerns me. The offense is the part that concerns me. The pitching doesn't as much. I feel like we're getting too off track, though.
Yeah, do you know what I just thought of? And maybe this isn't even Central related. I kind of wonder if like Paul Skeens is like looking in the back of the crowd, like, "Hey Tarak, how much you getting?" And then like Pittsburgh's like, "Oh God, we got to trade this guy long before that 5th year or long before that 6th year." So I do kind of wonder if this actually escalated a Paul Skeens trade more than it did a Tarak Skubal trade, but I'm just completely pulling that out.
Don't forget, the CBA ends last year.
Yep.
It may not be an accident that Boris decided to do that this year.
That's a good point.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on. This is depressing. I don't want to.
Can I make?
I think at the end of the Tigers season, it's going to be like an Avengers movie where the camera irises out and it says Tarak Skubal will not return.
Yeah.
He's not going to be a Tiger in 2027. That's where I stand. I don't think he is. He's going to be a fucking Met or a goddamn Yankee.
We've beat this horse to death, but I want to beat it one more time. So Lee, I'm very sorry. If you just add up between what the teams filed between Bubic, Pasquantino, and Ryan, like what the team submitted, 5.54 million and 5.85, it's about $14 million for those 3 players combined. And that's only $1 million more than what the differences between the Tigers and Tarak Skubal are. Like that's how wide the gap is, which I thought was just fun for everyone, not Lee or not in Detroit. So okay, I'm very sorry for kicking that dead horse one more time, but for Lee's mental health, let's move on. Not much news, other than I don't know if anybody has heard the news, but. Basically, the GM for Cleveland just told all of their fan base that Santa Claus doesn't exist and he doesn't believe in Christmas anymore. So, Dan, tell us, why does Cleveland hate Christmas?
Because he struck out too much and chased too many pitches. That's why. Um,
Now
so yeah,
explain that stupid joke.
so John Kenzie Noel this has been an ongoing segment at this point on the show. This is the third week in a row we're talking about this guy, but he was DFA'd in order to bring in Justin Brule, who was a relief pitcher, who's like left-handed relief depth, was what we added on. This is a team, don't forget, that devoid of offensive production in the outfield. Noel is a power hitting right-handed outfielder. He does swing and miss a lot. He does chase pitches a lot. But DFA'd him. There was apparently a very long holiday spanned moratorium on how waivers work over the course of the last couple of weeks. But this past week, the Baltimore Orioles claimed John Kenzie Noel, and so the Guardians lost him. They weren't able to retain him, put him in their minor league, roster. And the thing is, when they signed Sean Armstrong to a $4 million contract, also within the span of the last couple of weeks, they also waived Justin Brule. Brule had been passed through waivers once. Nobody had claimed him. They thought they were safe. They thought, we'll be able to put him in our minor leagues. We'll get Armstrong and we'll move on from here. Well, you know what? They ended up trading Brule to St. Louis because St. Louis had claimed him. And so they were at least able to get some cash for him. But you lost both those guys, both Noel and Brule, through just what I know that kind of players, especially at the bottom of the roster, change hands this time of year. But that just seems like it was just a misstep, just an accident. The kind of thing that you do when you're not very savvy at out of the park baseball and you lose guys you didn't mean to lose. They do have Sean Armstrong, who I think will help their bullpen. To close the loop on Noel, though, he ended up being DFA'd by Baltimore this week anyway. So to that point about how players just kind of change hands this time of year. But, I think the damage is done in terms of being able to retain him. The Guardians would have to claim him at this point again. Otherwise, he's going to end up in Baltimore's organization. So I think we can finally close the book on a player who was very memorable, had a short-lived career here in Cleveland, but had some really nice moments and has really prodigious power. And personally, I will be rooting for, even though he's not wearing a Guardians uniform anymore. So I kind of made peace with this. I think Eric was expecting more of anger, but instead,
disappointed.
I'm a little bit more subdued. I've made peace at this point, and man, I hope it doesn't bite us in the butt. That's all, because then you will get fire and brimstone if it does.
He's a fun player to have in the league.
Yeah,
I like the idea of John Kenzie Noel continuing to be in MLB. Now, not necessarily on my team, but on someone's team.
See, I just want him in a Twins uniform just to irritate that. Just for that random game in June, he hits a walk-off home run just to irritate him.
Well, what I said a couple weeks ago on the show was, when this was all going on, they had waived Brule, Noel was on waivers. I'm like, somebody in the division should just troll the Guardians and claim both those guys, like a Twins or a White Sox, somebody that has a little bit more play in their roster. But not to be the case. Baltimore apparently thinks they can do something with him, but also doesn't because they waived him. So we'll see.
Also, not for nothing. I don't expect the Twins, because the waiver wire is just reverse record order. The Orioles, I believe, had a worse record than the Twins, but pretend they did. The White Sox certainly didn't. So the White Sox just passed on him outright. If I would love for he's a right-handed hitting power outfielder. I wouldn't mind that just on the 40-man roster, because let me tell you, I'm okay if James Outman doesn't make the cut, or Mickey Gasper. There's some fat, there's some pretty big fat that you can trim from the Twins 40-man roster and fit in a Christmas-sized John Kenzie Noel. There's no reason they can't just pick him up just to see what he can do.
And the Orioles won 5 more games than the Twins did last year.
Okay, so the Twins already passed on him the first time.
They must have, yeah.
I will say on Noel, most likely to be a Tampa Bay Ray, in my opinion.
I agree.
Ooh,
That's interesting.
In which case, I would be if he gets to the Rays. That's where like the eyebrow goes up of like, well, this could be
That
something.
that would hurt. Yandy Diaz was a former Indian
Yeah,
who they kind of gave up on him because they couldn't get him to lift the ball in the air. He's had a fantastic, I'm not gonna say fantastic. He's had a very nice
he's
career in
fine.
Tampa. He won a batting title, like very good player. Junior Caminero was in the Guardians organization at one point. That was one of those like Fernando Tatis style trades though, where like you didn't know this guy was going to be amazing someday. They kind of traded him early in the timeline, but like there have been instances of Guardians drop guy, Rays pick him up, and he flourishes. So Ty, for you to name that specifically does pang a little bit, does hurt a little bit because that could totally happen.
Well, to be fair, Tampa Bay is known not just for like picking Guardians up, but like just
Fair.
any player they pick up. It's like, what do they like? Okay, so is this like a future Cy Young? Like they get such a benefit of the doubt because they're just phenomenal at what they do.
And Dan, just to say that was more in favor of Noel, not in your ill will.
That's cool.
Just making sure you knew.
Like I said, I hope he succeeds. He was a really good ball player for us for a brief period there and gave us some good memories. So
what if he
he's just a
succeeds
likable,
in
memorable guy.
Detroit? What if he
Oh, then
succeeds in Detroit?
if
Then
he
is
ends
that
up in Detroit, he is the enemy. So that's the one disclaimer to that.
You'll
It
say
would be-
bah
it would be-
humbug if he goes to Detroit.
I'll say bah humbug if he goes to Detroit. I'll say it on this show.
I don't necessarily want him, but I wouldn't mind it. I just don't think he's worth anyone on an outfield is worth replacing.
He homered off a guy who thinks he's worth $32 million last year.
And then he struck out 3 times in a row. So, you know.
No, that was Gabriel Arias.
Yeah. I think Gabriel Arias also did that. It's kind of hard to find a player on the Guardians who hasn't struck out to Skubal multiple times. So.
we can probably move off Jack. I also do kind of think like John Kenzie Noel, like there is a pretty significant chance that he's never going to be in the majors again. Like, so like maybe it's just like we've seen him be good for a flash and like, but there's also equal chance that he plays 30 games next year and then is never heard from again. Who will be
I would
Guardians
say
also-
if we were betting on this, Eric, that would be the odds
30 games.
leader is that Noel plays under 50 games in MLB for the rest of his career.
Not sponsored, by the way.
Yeah, thank God. No Fanduel needed. So the Guardians did another minor signing. They signed Dom Nunez. Good for him. All happy for Dom. Good for him. But
AAA catcher.
there was another clip in Cleveland that I think Dan wants to talk about a little bit more. So go ahead,
Yeah.
Dan.
How about a palate cleanser? So far, we've talked about greed, mismanagement. What else? A whole lot of negatives, a lot of cynicism, right? Jose Ramirez appeared on a Spanish-speaking podcast, baseball podcast, this past, I think recently, this past week. And there's a quote. This is a translated quote. So I'm going to read the full thing. It is a little long. I apologize, but I think it's worth it. So you guys are going to have to listen to it. Quote, this is in question. The question was about him taking this team-friendly deal that he's taken and how the team hasn't won a World Series and maybe they haven't built up as much around him as they possibly could. This was what he had to say to that. That was ultimately my decision to take the extension. We went through a year and a half of negotiations, and when I finally signed, I got a significant salary bump. I knew it wasn't fully reflective of my market value, and plenty of people made sure to point that out.
No, realmente.
Thanks, Jose. But I'm a veteran. I understand how the game works. Cleveland is a small market team, and they simply can't pay me what I could command on the open market. So I told them, let's find a fair agreement that works for both sides. I spoke directly with the GM. There were real trade discussions and offers from other teams willing to extend me at my full asking price. But my heart was set on staying in Cleveland. First and foremost, my children were born here. My wife feels comfortable in Cleveland, and so do I. I owe this city a lot. Since the day I arrived, I've never once been booed by these fans. I have seen how crowds in other stadiums treat players when results don't come quickly, and that's never happened here. I have a lot of thoughts about this. So, end of quote, by the way. So many players want to get every single penny they can get. We just talked about that a little bit earlier about with somebody else. And by the way, that's their prerogative. I'm never going to critique somebody. Um, I might, but it's their prerogative. It only comes from a place of kind of sports when I critique that. There is nothing inherently wrong though with wanting that money. But what Ramirez has done here is incredibly admirable, in my opinion. Um, Cleveland is the organization that discovered him at 17 years old on some backfield in the Dominican Republic. And, he's a little guy. He's not necessarily the guy that would stick out to a scout. So I think, I think he's always appreciated that. And I think, both sides have been successful in a real way because of that relationship that has been nurtured. And he's literally 17 years ago, he became a Cleveland Indian at the time in 2009. He's been in this organization literally half of his life. Like half of his life, that's what he knows. And so this organization's home from him. The city is home for him, and instead of chasing $300 million, he chased home. And I just think that's really admirable. And quite frankly, when I think about him and how the respect he gets here, I've talked on the show about a lot about how kind of I feel like the Browns overshadow the rest of the teams in this city. And I think that's the case, but um, I wish he would get a little bit even bit more of his due than he already gets. But when it comes down to it, when I think about like the athletes in Cleveland history, the top people that have been involved in sports in this town, I think about in this order, well, close to this order. Jesse Owens, who obviously didn't play for Cleveland, he was Olympian, but was from here. Jim Brown, LeBron, and then you're talking about either Bob Feller or Jose Ramirez. And I think, he's right there. And uh, I just wanted to highlight this. I thought, with all that's transpired over the last few years, it seems like he's still dedicated to the cause here, and at least publicly is on board with trying to win in the budget that the Guardians have. So, thanks for the time. I just wanted to acknowledge that, and just he deserves that appreciation, and I wanted to speak to it here.
Nope, I think that's fun. I think like every fan base has like every fan base wants a Jose Ramirez, and like you don't get that every generation. So it is like really refreshing, like and you should really treasure it when you happen. Like the White Sox and Paul Konerko, the the Twins and Joe Mauer or Byron Buxton, the Tigers and Miguel Cabrera, and then George Brett for the Royals. Like you get those, but like not all the time, and also they're not guaranteed. So like to have a first ballot Hall of Famer, that's awesome to hear because like we all want our players to love it in the team, especially like a superstar player. And for as much as he's flown under the radar, whether it's he's underrated or just because he was in Cleveland, like it is.
Well,
I'm sure it warmed your heart to hear.
yeah,
He also
exactly.
gave us one
One
of the best sport lines ever.
Yeah.
So
one last thing I'll mention, Lee. I've talked to you about this. I don't know if we've talked about it on air. I know we've talked about it off air, but like the some of the cities in this division are kind of sometimes looked down upon in a certain way. I feel like Cleveland, Detroit, these quote unquote rust belt cities that aren't necessarily glamorous. I just think it hits a little harder when somebody is willing to stay in one of these particular
Mhm.
cities
It's
specifically.
it's
So
very nice
I think it's
to hear.
appreciated a little bit more. I'm not trying to denigrate anybody else in their kind of relationship with sports, but the fact that they're willing to call this home, it matters. That's all.
Right. And it's
Yeah.
especially just kind of build off that point too. And Lee's kind of talked like everyone in this division is like like the place I live is great, and I want everyone to know. So like to have a superstar player or a player of really good talent, whatever you want to phrase it, to hear that reassurance, like it means much more than in New York. Where New York, it's a blood game, it's bloodlust. Like
Yeah.
they expect you to be great because it's New York because they've had 30
27
Hall of
rings.
Famers. It just doesn't mean the same. And even like, and I know Chicago is a big market, but like also Chicago is definitely a blue collar town. If you want to call it a team like that's a blue like a city that's blue collar. Like Chicago's that same way too. So like just to feel like, yeah, my superstar player also agrees that this place is awesome. Like that just has such an effect on the fan base that I don't think people can really appreciate.
Yes, and that's why. And this isn't the subject matter for this podcast, but that's the visceral reaction when LeBron left the first time. That's what we're talking about because it felt like,
Yeah.
Mm.
oh, he doesn't get it. Even though he lived here, was from here,
He was born
etc.
and
So
raised.
I'm not going to go deeper into that than just say that. But this is like the inverse of that. Like, oh, this guy isn't from here, but he loves it here. Well, we love this guy. Right?
Right.
Not to mention he's an incredible ball player. So
Yeah. So what pose of statue is he going to get?
I hear a lot of stuff about like they got to figure out a way because his helmet when he's running on the bases falls off all the time.
Oh, that's great.
Oh
So
yeah.
they need to find a way to like have maybe he's like sliding into a base and the helmet's back somewhere. They got to
Mm.
figure that out. But it's funny because we've got the Jim Thome statue and the Bob Feller statue. I'd make this joke. I wish they would have positioned them so it looked like Feller was pitching to Thome. Um, maybe they can re-alter things so that like Ramirez is on second base behind Feller or something. I don't know.
It's kind of hard to decide because like for a lot of type of statues, it's the thing they were most known for. Like catchers will be in a catching, batters will be, but like Jose Ramirez did everything. So it's hard to pin him down as which part of him do you value most?
It might be the end of the home run swing. I don't know, but I'd be in favor of them naming all kinds of stuff after him in that.
Can I
in
suggest
that
one
ballpark.
thing? And
Yeah.
this is the low hanging fruit. Can we just suggest this as the statue?
We're not punching Tim Anderson if that's
We
what
are
you're-
punching Tim Anderson. God damn it! Why did you have to ruin my joke? God dang it! This is 100% the pose.
He's
Dang it,
that'll
Dan.
never- I mean, that wouldn't happen for obvious reasons anyway. But he doesn't like this. Like,
I've heard that he really
I
doesn't.
feel bad for him that it keeps getting. I feel kind of bad that it happened to him because he hates it so much because it's so good. And my microphone.
it's one of those things where I feel like he felt like he had to do what he had to do in the moment, but it's one of those things where he's completely uncomfortable with it. Like I remember a couple weeks after the fact, it was the year Miggy was retiring, and we gave him a guitar or something because we can't let go of the rock and roll thing for whatever reason. But Miggy goes up to him and is like doing like the boxing like thing, and Jose's like, "No, bro, like no, I'm not into this." So
I
and Miggy
feel
didn't
bad
mean
there was
anything
such a
by
cool
it, but-
moment. I feel bad that was so cool because he hates it. But it was,
Yeah.
I mean, everyone's going to bring it up all the time because it was.
Well, maybe he shouldn't have punched someone.
Well, to be fair, Anderson squared up first. I understand, like Jose looked at Anderson first, but like Tim was pretty quick to put him up, and like Jose, which I believe, and like not to like this is a 3-year-old story, but like Jose used to box when he was a teenager, from what I heard, and he was, I mean,
clearly he was good at it.
and yeah, obviously he was good at. So like, it's just kind of funny that and also like what. If you were to tell me like, ooh, this international kid falls in love with a city and he's this humble badass, I would tell you, shut up. Like,
Here's the thing, though, like-
that's like such a trope. But like,
The one thing I'll not push back on, but the one thing I want to kind of correct on that, Eric, is he is incredibly self-confident.
sure,
Like he exudes humility and I think some of this is just how athletes have to be, but Jose Ramirez thinks he's the best player on the field every single time he's on the field.
right?
Like he has the quote, which I think is a little tongue in cheek, but it's like he said one time he was better than Barry Bonds. Like, and some of that's he's a jokester and he kind of says things to be you're not sure if they're sarcastic or not. But like the only thing I think can't be lost is he is an incredibly confident dude. But there's a difference between confidence and cocky, and he's not.
I love it when players know they're good and they don't pretend otherwise.
Right.
Like not in
That's
a
kinda
braggart, arrogant way, but I like it when they know that they're that good.
Yeah.
Like
Also, and what I mean by like
knows
humble,
he's
it's
that
not
good.
like
It's fun.
when I say like the humble badass, I mean like, so Floyd Mayweather will scream from the mountaintops that he is the best, that like Muhammad Ali will scream from the mountaintops. Jose Ramirez, like he can have that internal confidence and like, but he's not exactly going on Twitter and being like,
Yeah.
"Hey, bro, don't mess with me. I'll mess you up." It's just like,
Agreed.
you're going to challenge me? Okay, let's do this, but it's not going to end up well. That's more or less the spirit I meant, rather than, you know.
I follow you.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. So,
That's good.
there's one little minor piece of news. Unless anyone wants to talk about Jose Ramirez, he's getting a statue. I think the issue right now is first ballot Hall of Fame or second year. I don't see why he wouldn't be first ballot.
He's going to be
But
terrorizing you guys for at least a little while longer, it seems like.
yeah, at least he's likable though. You know, like
Not if we sign him first.
I don't know if that. Did you just hear the last 10 minutes? So there was one little minor pickup that I don't think we need to spend a lot of time on this, but I did think it was at least newsworthy to talk on because the Rockies DFA Drew Romo, who was a former top 100 prospect, at least on MLB Pipeline. The White Sox claimed him and ended up dropping the guy that Ryan Rollison, who we talked about a couple weeks ago. The White Sox have two prominent prospects, catching prospects already in the majors, and Drew Romo, who used to be a prominent prospect, has not hit at all above AA. Like, and it's been like brutally bad in AAA. And I think even in his appearances with Colorado, I think he's hit like 150. It's been real dire, but he's also 24 years old. So I know the White Sox when the Rockies DFA'd him, the White Sox, I think, have the second or third pick on the waiver wire. So I'm not surprised that he didn't fall that big. But I don't know if Drew Romo is going to be a major league player, but this could be a sneaky good pickup. But I also kind of wonder, what are they doing with Teal and Quiero? Is that the other one?
Caro and then Lee for the third. Yes.
So they have 4 catchers on the 40-man, which is a lot for a 40-man roster. So I don't hate it. I also wouldn't be surprised if next week he's also DFA'd, but who really knows? But Ty, do you have any thoughts on Drew Romo? I don't think we need to spend a lot of time on it, but it could be noteworthy.
The general understanding is that either Lee or Kiro will get traded. Now, also, just as a high upside, we give him a chance to be in another organization to see what he can do here. And given that an injury happens, we give him the opportunity. So
I think that's probably a point I should have brought up. If I was once a highly touted prospect, but I was in Colorado and I didn't work out well in Colorado, I think there's like 27 major league teams that might be like, I can probably do better than the Colorado Rockies in developing. So like, I don't think he'll be much, or else they wouldn't have, if there was any promise, I think they wouldn't have DFA'd him. But yeah, do you think this does this really increase the chance? I think it increases their ability to have like a third catcher and then to have Caro or Teal rotate first base.
Eric, keep in mind, we don't need another catcher. We don't need another first baseman, especially since we have Mooney
now. Got Murakami. That's right. Yeah.
So
that guy's not going to play first base.
This is the only position we have true depth at, and Romo is a good add to that. Now, what's next? I think that's the question.
That's an interesting point. Yeah, you're right. I completely forgot about Murakami. So good for me. Shows you how good my memory is. So
Romo was drafted with the 35th pick in 2020. He's played in 19 games, 9 hits in 56 plate appearances.
That's not pretty.
That's not
but
small sample size, obviously, but that's not pretty.
Does it sway anyone's opinion that on my OOTP rebuild of the Colorado Rockies, Drew Romo became an MVP candidate? Does that sway anyone? Because I gave him $100 million extension after he won, he was second in MVP. Does that matter to anyone?
Now we know why Eric wanted to talk about this. He just
that's right. I was like, ooh, look. This guy was a monster. Let me tell you, in 2027, that's his year, which I guess is only 2 years from now, which seems weird. But okay.
So if we trade Teal back to the Red Sox and Carroll goes somewhere else, there's still a chance. Just saying.
There is. Okay, so that's the news. That's all of it. So we're an hour in now. I'm closing my notes because Lee and Ty have taken over the rest of the show, and they've done a bunch of tier lists, and I'm looking really forward to these because I really haven't listened in on a lot of these. So Lee, Ty, it's all yours.
Alrighty. So I'm not quite sure what order we want to do these. We got 7 of them here. Let me just share my screen here. There we go. All right. Does anyone have one that they really want to do right away? I don't know how much time we have or how
I
long.
say we just go down the
Yep,
list.
just go down the list.
All right. Let's do rivalry matchups. I spent a lot of time making these little. Oh, God damn it. I hate this. I didn't share. Stop sharing.
Just to
about
call
to say
out
that.
anyone who does watch and is curious, I believe these are all public templates now, so you could go
Yep.
and do your own as well.
All right.
And also, if you are doing it, share it with us. Tell us where we got wrong.
That would be fun. All right. Here are the tiers. We got the top one, Down Goes Anderson, and then Heated, Exciting, It's Okay, and then Rivalry.
So what is the category? And then we can go into the tiers. But
So the category is rivalry matchups, which is kind of like how big is it of a rivalry is this? How exciting is this? This is a combination of historical and also current. So basically, if you say this rivalry, how much of it, how exciting or how important or whatever, how do you view this matchup?
and then you said historically or current?
You can do a combination of both, just kind of however we want to do it, if we want. I was thinking more current, but we can, yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think?
I was thinking historical because, like, we know, like, Cleveland and Detroit are the only, like, they're the only competent. I'm sorry, Sam. Kansas City is competent, but I think we can all agree nobody hates Kansas City.
Not at this point in time.
So historical, I think that's the direction to go.
I kind of like the basic. Just how do you view this matchup? I guess is this a rivalry?
Sounds
I
like
think
rumor
we
talk
should
to
just
me.
do whatever we see fit and put these
Yes.
into the tier list.
How about we do that? Not,
What's our first one?
Fair enough.
All right, first we got Guardians versus Twins.
Heated is my
My
first.
feeling is also Heated.
It's pretty up there, right? Because especially because
Yeah.
the past few years, it's been a lot of the one-run matches and the walk-offs, and
Despite the last year and a half, the Twins have been competitive in the last couple of years, and Cleveland has always been the foil.
Twins fans tend to get snarky about the way the Guardians like to score runs too. Eric, I appreciate that you haven't really done much of that, but like, yeah, there's a lot of commentary about exit velocity and things of that nature.
I
I
think
think
we
Heated's a good
talked-
place for here.
We talked about this during the season, and like, I can see how, and I think the accusation you're talking about is like a lot of Twins fans think like the Guardians get a lot of cheap hits,
Yeah,
but like the reality is they're a speed and defense team, speed, defense, and contact. That's their thing.
yeah.
If I have, let's say, a 2-run lead, I'm feeling pretty confident against the Guardians. If I have a 1-run lead though, I'm like
you might as well
Disaster.
very anxious about that because it seems like 1 run isn't enough. If that makes sense, like Dan, do you agree with that, or like I understand like anyone who
particularly
has, like,
against
a
the
2-run
Twins.
lead.
Yeah, particularly against the Twins. And I think this rivalry dates back to, 20 years. I remember Jason Davis trying to fight, I think it was Jock Jones. I don't know, somebody in that ilk 20 years ago. So,
Oh, I don't
yeah.
remember that. Jock
Heated
Jones
is a
didn't
good
fight a
place.
lot, so why was Jason Davis an asshole? Is really what my question is.
He probably might have been. I don't remember. I was 12 at the time.
Don't remember either.
I'd just like to call out the Guardians do have a 200 win advantage on the Twins.
Oh, that's-
Oh, it's not even close, especially if you go. Also, you're including the Washington Senators over at the first like a lot of that
Yeah.
too. But like,
True.
don't get me wrong, the Twins have been around since 1961. Cleveland, especially in the last like 4 years, it has been like we've talked about how laughingly lopsided it is in 1-run games. That translate like Cleveland. I don't think it's much of a rivalry, but I can tell you like, yes, I do like it a little bit more when the Twins beat Cleveland the few times it happens.
All right, let's move And then we got Guardians, White Sox.
So the backdrop of this is the stuff we were just talking about, the Anderson Ramirez thing. I think heated because of that, but
I
what
disagree.
do you
I'd
think?
go. I mean, I'm going in down goes Anderson, not only because of J Ram, but also because of
Naylor.
Naylor, because of
Put it there
all the
because of Naylor too.
crap we've had to take from this man over the course.
I'm comfortable with that then.
I no
Can we
further
get
comments, Your Honor.
can we get other opinion? Like, are we just talking? Like, are we staying in our lanes?
I think we can
If
get.
you have an opinion, you go right ahead.
Yeah, if you have an opinion, go ahead.
Is it that heated? Because like the Whites, like when were both of these teams good at the same time? Other than
2020.
like
We're,
you
we're
take
both.
out.
We're both. I think it's similar to the Twins though, where it's like either team, it could go either way. There's a lot of close games. Like there's no clear winner.
Well, to be fair, Cleveland only has close games. Like when Cleveland wins, it's a close game. I would
Especially
say
the
like
last couple of years.
I don't know, like I don't have a dog in this fight, but I do kind of feel like it's okay. Like I wouldn't think like AL Central rivals, Cleveland, Chicago.
Did someone on your team get punched out in recent memory?
But take out that. Like literally take out that one fight and you're just like, is this a
I agree with.
rivalry?
I was going with heated too, and then tie the Naylor thing from a few years ago, where Josh Naylor hit like 2 home runs and a double in after the 8th inning because some White Sox fans were heckling at him about his weight, and he shoved it up there, what's.
But
So
then, like, this is also a guy where at the time he's batting 180, and I'm sitting there at the ballpark with my dad, and it's like, yep, this is the guy who's going to hit a home run off of us. And sure as heck, and there it goes. Goodbye.
I would have been fine with heated. I'm good with down goes Anderson.
All right, I'll put it in down goes Anderson just for the meme. All right, Guardians, Kansas City. I don't know what. Yeah.
Dan, do you? I would put this maybe in the middle. I don't have a lot of strong feelings on this.
The most spiciest thing that's happened with Clase hitting India in the head last year.
But that was
I
India.
think
He was hitting India. He wasn't hitting the Royals.
it's okay.
Yeah,
That's
not
my
really.
opinion.
All right, then we got Twins, Royals.
Rivalry?
Did the
Yeah,
Royals have any rivalries? That's what I'm curious.
I don't
about.
hate the
Except
Royals
for
at
like
all.
the Cardinals.
I think it would be the Royals' rivalries would be with the Cardinals and the Yankees.
Yeah.
All right, then we got
also the Royals Twins in the last few years have played some of the least exciting baseball games
God,
I've
it's been
ever
bad.
seen.
If
Like-
you want incredibly boring 0 to 1 run baseball, let me present you the Cleveland or the Minnesota Twins and Kansas City Royals. It has been Bobby Witt and Byron Buxton and everyone else with their thumbs up their ass. Like it has not been pretty.
So it's not even like good pitching. It's just no one shows up.
When the batters don't swing the bat, it's very hard to call it a baseball game.
Remember that thing where who was it? Was it Simeon Woods Richardson like blew a kiss towards the Royals
That was
bullpen or
Chicago.
whatever? Okay, no, that was someone. Okay, I thought that was the only thing I had. All right, then we got I think instantly.
No
pretty
question.
Much. Yeah.
And we've talked about this a couple times now, but the Cleveland Detroit rivalry is a thing. At least in my opinion, I view outside of football, it's kind of the prominent basketball and baseball rivalry in my opinion. And both those things have kind of been regenerated the last couple of years. So I feel good about this.
I will
Especially
say of all the games, this is the one that, as not a fan of either team, I'd still watch because it'll be interesting.
By the way, 2 charter members of the American League too. So we've been duking it out for a really long time.
They have like 2,000 matchups. I think it's like pretty much 500 now, in terms of like the record wise. After it's pretty.
Literally one game difference.
Yeah, look at
Good
that.
call.
Who's got it? Probably Detroit.
Detroit.
Just that one play at Game 3 of the wild card series.
But like when you look at the two organizations, like they're run differently. So
I think so.
I think they're starting to be runs more similarly in recent years. But the last time that Detroit was a boogeyman, they were a lot more of a
slugging,
broad-shouldered spending team than they are now. It seems like. No offense, Lee, in this case.
No, that's accurate. All right, Detroit, Kansas City. I mean, how many one-run games did
Sam
we have
just shrugged.
here? Like somewhere in it's whatever. There was that game we had multiple games where like it was 1-0, and then the one run was like a 7th inning RBI or a wild pitch, and it's like, who watches this? Or a sac fly, and it's like, why are we watching this?
Yeah.
All right, Tigers Twins. I put this kind of in the middle here because we had
I'd either go exciting or it's okay. I don't think that's recent because it feels like as one team was going up, the other was going down.
Yeah, it's always been kind of a little bit more back and forth.
Going back to like Mauer, Morneau, and Cabrera, I think that was a little bit more fun.
But other than game 163 in like 2009, Lee, is there a time you can kind of remember that they have been competitive?
Not when they were competitive at the same time. I mean, it's been a lot more one-sided either way. Like, there was that time when Nelson Cruz just bullied us, but like that was one
time. Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
I'm more upset that Torrey Hunter signed with Detroit for a year than I am about like hating Miguel Cabrera.
Yeah,
it's okay.
I think I just saw a lot more like football anger go carry over, but like it's not really a thing.
The Vikings have been terrible. Anyway, go ahead.
Anyway, sorry.
All right. Screw the Vikings for anyone who wants to call me a Vikings fan.
All right, Tigers White Sox. I feel like this generally goes up here.
Going back to like the late 2000s, like I would say exciting to heated. Like it seemed like we were, up until recently, we were good at the same time, and we were always, if it wasn't Cleveland fighting you for the division, it was us.
Yeah, like when I was a kid, it was the Tigers and the White Sox going at it mostly, and Cleveland was usually like third-ish. But like that's how I always view this. It's always kind of been there. So I think exciting.
I think that's always been more of a more exciting series that when it happens.
Yeah, there was that time. Remember at like end of 2021 when the White Sox were so good. The last few games we played of the season, we played each other, and there was like a minor scuffle at second base with someone, and they're like, "Oh, this rivalry might get interesting because the Tigers are on the up and up," and then nothing happened with that because the Tigers continued to suck. Yeah. All right, White Sox Royals.
It's okay.
These are some of the nicest fans I've ever met. I can't say anything bad. Honestly, like we went and stayed at Kansas City, which once again, I know this isn't on topic, but when we went there, I want to say it was 2012 or so. The fact that the stadium's 30 miles out of the city or whatever it doesn't make any sense to me. But anyway,
it is great. Inside city limits.
Terrible. Anyway, Kansas City, they were so nice. I can't say negative.
Ty, whether you meant it this way or not, that was such a bless their heart type of comment. Like, I don't.
No ill will. It's okay.
All right. We got final one: White Sox Twins.
This might sound absurd, and the worst two teams in the division. Down goes Anderson. I hate the White Sox with a passion. I think it's the best.
I'm downgrading him to a heated.
Are you? Okay, I disagree with that. If there's a team I want to
more
beat
about
every
going
year,
against Cleveland than I do against you. Maybe
here's
it's the
my
other
thought.
way around, but
This is more like the totality of this. This is me being biased, let me know. But do we agree that Detroit Cleveland is a cut above everything else here? And we just drop down goes
in
Anderson.
terms
and
of
we just think about
national news?
In terms of like active rivalry, I guess is what.
Yeah.
I guess I'm fine having the White Sox and Twins in heated. I would drop down Chicago and Cleveland to exciting. But that's just me.
I would put Chicago and Cleveland in heated. In that way, like those are all kind of, I think we have a higher opinion of heated now. And Detroit Cleveland's just on top of everything. That's my
Is that just because they're the best two teams in the division right now?
No, I think it's, like I said, I think it's an ongoing thing.
Okay.
This is my opinion.
Don't hate it.
I am not surprised Kansas City is the least hated team. Like, I just...
Me neither.
This is such again, we just talked about last week how they've had three streaks of back-to-back wins since 1990. It's almost like, hey, Kansas City, we're rooting for. It's like little brother, like we're rooting for you. We want you to be good, but I
do like how Cleveland ended up way at the top for most of it
because they've been good for 30 years. The sons of bitches. Like,
yeah.
Other than the two Maniacta years, it's been good sailing for me.
Yeah.
Not gonna hide from it.
all right. Yep. Download this. We'll post this on the Blue Skies and the Twitters and all of that later.
Yeah, my personal Blue Sky has been hacked, so I've been trying to deal with that. It's fun.
No.
Yeah. All right. I want to do baseball-y names because I had way too much fun putting this one together. If anyone,
Do it.
Do it.
all right. Yeah. I couldn't think of any other clever names, so just top to bottom. Yeah.
So can we add? I don't know if Leaf you can do this on the fly. I think you should add like team logos. Because I feel like just in general we can just rattle off good baseball names and we can decide if who's in the A tier and all of that. But we can go after the names you have.
So what I did as I went through the team rosters, I picked the 3 best names in my opinion from the active roster, and then I looked up old names at the first. So I had those 4 from each team. So that's what I tried to do. All right, so we can rank them based on combination of how funny they are, how baseball-y they feel, whatever you want, pretty much. It's like, yeah, that's a baseball player.
Can we start with Dylan Dinger, please?
Dylan Dingler.
Born to play baseball?
Yep.
Yep.
That is an S tier name.
Agree. That's such a good name. That was half the bit. Back when we didn't know he was actually going to be good, it was like it wasn't a meme, but yeah, it was.
His name
We
is
talked
Dylan
about Dylan Dingler because his name was so fun to say.
Yeah, his name is Dylan Dingler. I mean, come on. Fielder Jones. His name is Fielder Jones. Like, come on. He played for the White Sox from 1901 to 1908.
I remember it like it was yesterday.
Wasn't he mentioned in Field of Dreams?
He might have been.
I don't think so.
Because I remember seeing this name like recently.
He wouldn't have been. He wouldn't have been on that team, but I mean, it could have been.
When I see a name like Fielder Jones, I think of this is another OTP reference, but like when they go in the database and they can't find somebody's first name, they usually just call them ball player and then whatever their last name is. That's what I think of when I see Fielder Jones. It's not quite exactly the same, but I'm assuming.
Are you calling him a D tier, Dan? Is that what I'm hearing?
I'm calling him an A. I think it's.
Oh, you're an A. Okay.
See, I go B. I'm not.
I would downgrade. I would go less than A.
Because also, like for the era. If I want a 1901, I want like Rube Waddell. I want like this really hokey comical name.
I think Jones brings it down a little bit.
Jones does bring it down.
Fielder Aloysius or something like that. I think it would be a lot better. But Jones is a little bit too generic.
Yeah, I had a hard time finding some names for some names. Like I went through Look, I don't know why I put Mike Talkman on here. I was like, yeah, that's a name.
So Lee, instead of you sliding these, because like I see what you were trying to do. Can we just like
organize them?
What name picks? So like Ty, what's a name that picks out from the list that you see in front of you? What's the name that picks out?
I love Bavaric Benton Bean. That's
that's pretty good. Bean. I didn't even. That's
at least an A. You're all wrong if you think otherwise.
That's amazing.
I'll agree with that.
I don't even know who that is, but yeah.
Can we pull up the baseball reference page quick? Because I want to know Bavaric very well now.
Yeah,
the BBB.
Bavaric Benton. He's not even. Okay.
Belv Bean.
Belv Bean. Bavaric Benton Bean.
Okay. Also, what's funny? His nickname is Bill. His nickname is the most common name on earth.
That's so funny.
1.4 WAR. Look at this guy. I love
1.4 WAR. Yep.
The pitcher. Wow. He was all right. Look at that 2 whip there.
He'd be a workhorse for a reliever to today's standards.
He was mostly a reliever in a time when relievers were poorly thought of.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, he had a 7 ERA, and
were they only used for the the last inning for that at that point?
They only used a reliever if the starter wasn't doing well, basically.
Let's see.
Or he got tired.
Oh,
and even Lee, how did you find this guy?
So there was a guy on Reddit who 9 years ago made a bunch of posts about the funniest names in baseball. And so I tried Googling like best, baseball names or whatever to find teams, and I found this guy's posts, and he just made a bunch of these. There were some really good ones. But yeah, look at this guy. I'm trying to see if I can see which inning he would pitch in. But I don't know if they have that recorded. Dang.
Oh, that's right. He was batting the whole time too.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is amazing.
Very interesting. Hats off to you, Mr. Bean or Bill.
Hey, he batted 375 in 11 games.
In 9 plate appearances, but yes, he did.
Yeah. But yeah, this guy's name is amazing. So.
Yeah, I like A for that.
All right. Sam, how about you pick one?
Ooh. Does it need to be from my team specifically?
No, just whatever calls to you.
I mean, I think I got to go with Ulysses Simpson Grant Stoner right there. I mean, what a name! I mean, that's an S tier name when we even.
Yeah, his nickname was Lil
His
Stoner.
name is Lil Stoner?
Yeah, he's got to be. That is S tier right there. Lil Stoner is.
All right. First off, for anyone who is watching, who is just listening to this audio, one, go to YouTube. Because if you scroll up on his hat, if you would just tell me ChatGPT just made an old-timey Detroit Tiger, that D looks effed up on the hat. That is, god dang it. But his name is Lil Stoner. This is Snoop's favorite baseball player.
I just thought of a new game we could play in the future, but I'm going to talk about it off air. Never mind.
All right. Look at this guy.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a SoundCloud rapper or if that's
that's the joke I was going to make is rapper or athlete. Or
Based
rapper
upon his
player.
career 4.76 ERA. How did he do at batting? He had a career 172.
That's an all-star if you ask me. I know the all-star wasn't there yet, but
yeah. This man was born for baseball.
Also, like, U.S. Grant is my favorite president of all time, so, like, I agree with that. Born to play baseball. Love that.
All right, Eric, how about you? Let's continue doing
I'm going to be a homer here, but, like, Kirby Puckett was born to play baseball. That is such a good baseball name.
It's a good name.
It's such a good name. Kirby Puckett.
S?
I mean, that's the Twins. I think it's born to play baseball, but I'm very biased.
I would still keep Dingler above him, but I would keep him in the same category, yes.
Is he above U.S. Stoner?
I don't think. No, I think Stoner is a bit better. All right. Dan, how about you go ahead and.
We've had some good ones come off the board. I'm going to go with Spencer Torkelson, which to me isn't much of a. That sounds like a guy with thick rimmed glasses that gets shoved into a locker in middle school. Is what Spencer Torkelson sounds like to me. So I think he would be D tier. Maybe that's the Cleveland Detroit rivalry coming out.
See, I think different. Like to me, it's like torque. That's like muscle. That's Detroit muscle. That's like a Ford Mustang torque. Like I'm coming off the line. 0 to 60 in 2.5.
The thing that I feel like Torkelson sounds like the name of a Pokemon.
I'm going C tier just based on that.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I think C is a good place.
We're all over the board with Torkelson, apparently.
I feel like Torque is a good nickname, but like Spencer is really a baseball name. Quite as much.
Yeah.
As
Like if it was
If his name was
Torkelson,
just
that would be
Torque.
completely different.
If his name was Spencer Torque, that would be a lot better in my opinion.
That's true. I think I agree with that.
So can we like change up the format for that since we've all had a pick? Can we all do, because I think it would be kind of fun. Can we just like rattle off like why we think like the best names that we can think of for our team, and then we can kind of like tier list like the organizations in general?
I mean, I can't think of that many names.
Because I can rattle off like 10, I think, that are just good like baseball names.
Go for it.
So maybe this is just me, and then maybe I just want to like flex. So, like I think Doug Minkiewicz was a first baseman for the Twins. I think that is a really good name. Chuck Knobloch is a very good name. Justin Morneau, Joe Mauer is just like an American, like just a perfectly good American-born name. You have Brad Radke, I think, was born to pitch in the majors. Who else do you have? You have lest we forget. Oh my God, he had who was the '90s? Tom Bernansky was a Twins right fielder. AJ Pierzynski is a good name. Now maybe I'm just inflating like good baseball names with long and confusing names, but I don't know. I feel like the Twins have a lot of really good baseball names.
Let me one up you a little bit here. I can't do any better than a Joe Mauer. Bobby Jenks, Chris Sale.
I like Jenks.
Harden, pretty trying to come up with a third one. I mean, Frank Thomas.
Frank Thomas is just
That's
a good,
that's-
solid.
That's a
That's
good
a
name.
solid name.
All
I'm
right.
trying to think. Just as like, who's like a good like '70s White Sox? Like Sammy Sosa was a White Sox.
Is Carlton Fisk a good baseball name?
Yeah,
I give
feel
him
like
I think
it is.
Carlton
B.
isn't really.
I've always felt like Al Hrabosky was a good baseball name.
yeah.
Mm.
Does anyone think like Ron Gardenhire was born to manage?
Yes.
More so, even if you look at him, though.
Yeah, well, that's true.
True.
He was actually.
Definitely, yeah.
What's funny, he was like a speedy utility guy with the Mets. Like he was he was a quad A player, but yeah, just you see later Gardy, and he does not look like he was a former baseball player. Josh
Jim Whelan
Jones,
is the stereotypical '80s baseball
Yes.
manager, like
Mm.
cigarette and the mustache.
what about like Kent Herbeck? That's a good
Yeah.
baseball name.
That's a good name.
Minnie Minoso.
That's a good
Ooh,
one.
that's a good name. Oh, you have the Twins had oh my God, what was he won the MVP in '65 and did nothing after that. I gotta look this up.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. What about?
Yeah, it's just really good.
I don't even know if this guy played in the. Hold on. Stand by.
Harmon Killebrew, by the way,
Yes.
great baseball name.
100%. Also not on our list. I do like Josh Donaldson.
That's a good name.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
a good name.
I
I need to make a. See, I couldn't make this list on my own because I don't know enough names. I guess.
So the player who I'm thinking of in 1965, he had a 7.2 WAR and nothing else the rest of his career. There was Zoilo Versailles. Just because I'm looking at these names, Tony Oliva is a good baseball name. Rod Carew, Earl Batty. They had Don Milcher. Mudcat Grant was on the
Oh,
Twins.
yeah.
Can I get a Mudcat Grant?
That's amazing.
He played for the Indians too at one point. I've got a couple for the Indians. I'm not as good at the baseball name thing, but Rocky Colavito. I'm not going to get out of this segment without mentioning my dad's favorite player growing up, Rocky
There you
Colavito. Jerry Dudzinski, who was like a middle infielder for the Indians in the '80s, not very good. And then Jody Garrett, which was one-time almost Rookie of the Year in 2003. I like those names. Travis
can I-
Hafner. Travis Hafner sounds like
Hafner's
he
a good
would
name.
be
Yeah.
Especially
fit
if you're
in.
going nicknames. That's
Gronk, yeah.
that's a real good name. I like, but also like just to go off of Cleveland, I think Kenny Lofton is a good baseball name. Jim Thome was made to play first base in the majors.
I
Nagy.
know it's not a popular name, but Trevor May. I do think it makes sense that he was a reliever.
It's fair.
Yeah.
I think what was his first name? It was Nagy for the Indians.
Charles Nagy.
Charles Nagy and Brad Radke was like the typical, like central. If you're thinking of like mid 2000s Twins Indians, Chuck Nagy versus Brad Radke. That was the top of the. That
Just
was
like
the
when I
match.
think 2000s White Sox Indians, I think Mark Burley versus Jake Westbrook. Just
Oh, also
someone
the
else.
Twins had Frank Viola. I think is a good name. Bert Blyleven is a Hall of Famer. Jim Cott. So I don't want to say the Twins have like A tier names, but like
I'll take your word for it. My dad's favorite player as a kid was Chet Lemon.
Oh yeah, he was he was a good player too.
Yeah, he was a good player.
But also
I
like
thought his
Prince
favorite.
Fielder, great name.
So is
Cecil
Cecil though.
Fielder, not as
Yeah.
good, but still a good name.
Yeah, Chet Lemon. I love that name. Should we just do a different tier list? Since obviously this one doesn't.
I was about to suggest that.
This is a good exercise, but yes, I agree.
This was fun. I just wanted to Scott Blewett. Come on. That's amazing.
That is a good name. Scott Blue. Well, it's not a good name.
Yeah. All right. Well, I tried that one. So let's do players to steal or team fight position. Which one do you?
Players to steal.
All right. I called it the me likey. Okay, so what I did for this, I picked the 2 best pitchers, 2 best position players, and their top prospect from each team. You don't have to do the prospects if you don't want to, but I wanted to include them on here. So these are the tiers, the whatever it takes. Who do I need to DFA, which is just slightly below. Upgrade if there's room, and no thanks. So you want to do these by team, or do you want to just mix it up and do whatever? So
You just go down the list, right? Starting with Bobby Witt, whatever it takes.
Yeah,
I don't know why all these are cut off weird.
No worries.
Yeah. All right. Whatever it takes. I can edit and let's see.
You'd be willing to give him up, right, Sam?
Huh?
You'd be willing to
Bobby
give
Witt?
up Bobby Witt?
Well, I'll tell you what. I think that the fact that Bobby Witt has signed a long-term contract, it honestly makes me. If he didn't have a long-term deal, I would feel very differently about the Royals. So, I'm glad that he's locked up in the way that he is.
Yeah. All right. How about let's do Shane Smith. Where would he go? Sorry, he's your best pitcher from last year. So
I think if there's room,
I agree.
like he's not bad, but I don't know that I'm breaking down the door for him.
all right. Oh, I forgot. I was gonna put Munetake on here, but I totally forgot. Oops.
That's okay.
Sorry. All right. Let's do Byron Buxton.
Who do I need a DFA?
Yep.
Mhm.
I think that's
Agreed.
fair. We're talking like current contract, current age, correct? Not
Yeah.
peak.
Yeah, right as
Okay.
they are right now. Like
Yeah,
if you
I
could
think that's
take
fine.
them
Who do
for
I
the
need?
2026
I think
season.
that's fair.
Yeah. Let's continue going through. Let's get Jose Ramirez. Whatever it takes. Right? That's gotta be.
All
right.
right. Can I just small
Okay. Oh.
pushback?
Seriously,
He's 30. He's on the wrong
Yeah.
side of 30. He is making 20+ million a year.
The age factor would be the only thing that.
Well, that's just it. Like, I'm fine with whatever it takes, but like maybe on the lower end of whatever it takes.
Lower end of
The-
that.
Lower
one
than
thing
Bobby
I
Witt,
will-
100%.
the one thing I will say in your favor, Eric, is he's a guy that is he going to play third base the rest of his career? Like, as he ages, is he going to be able to do that? And he's not tall enough to play first, so I get it, but it's still whatever it takes.
I mean, I also think like and Dan, maybe I hope you agree with this. Is there a gap? Is there a pretty big gap between Bobby Witt and Jose Ramirez? I don't mean that to slight Jose Ramirez. I mean that as like a positive. Like, to me, Bobby Witt is the best player in this division, and it's not close. Position player in this division, it's not.
We're not doing this debate again. There is not a gap.
I don't want to have this discussion again.
We can do that on another episode, but I disagree, and that's okay that you don't agree with me.
All right. Skubal. Where does he go on?
Whatever it takes.
Who do I need to DFA? He has a year
Yeah.
left.
Who do I need to DFA?
Yep.
I think especially because with Skubal, it would only be a 1 year
Yep.
That's fair.
thing.
All right. Let's get Noah Cameron.
Upgrade.
I like
He's a good
upgrade.
upgrade. For
He has a
lot
lot of team
teams.
control. I'm
Yeah,
almost.
he's got a lot of.
I would
young-
go up one more.
Really? Put him into who do we need a DFA?
He has 5 years of team control, and he was
That's true.
third on
I
Rookie
think,
of the Year.
I think for me would be is, I mean, we only got a year out of him. You know, like you don't know exactly what.
And
you
he
have.
is 25, so
Mhm.
not quite as young as one might think.
All right, let's grab Braden Montgomery, #1 prospect for Chicago White Sox. I don't know if we had, or we could just do prospects later. How about that? Mark Friesel, pitcher. reliever. He was-
1.97 ERA last year.
He looked good.
I think if there's room,
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I
would
don't know
agree.
much. That's
he's. I feel similarly about Smith. Like he's good. I'd be interested in him, but I don't know deeper than that.
Yeah. Joe Ryan.
upgrade.
Upgrade, I
I'd
think.
put him even higher than that.
I would go high. Yeah,
He has
Who do I
not
need
at
to
whatever it
DFA?
takes, but he's definitely.
He's a really good pitcher. Who do I need to DFA?
He is really good. All right, Stephen Kwan.
Upgrade?
I would
What
put
do
him.
you guys think?
Does he have 1 or 2 years left?
2.
I would put him
I'd
here.
say, yeah. Who do I need to DFA?
Yeah.
I would think I'd go upgrade, but
I'd go upgrade, but on the high end of upgrade. I'd go above
Above
Noah
Cameron.
Cameron and upgrade.
Yeah.
I will put him here at the low end of who do I need a DFA. Let's see, Dylan Dingler. He's got 4 years.
Upgrade.
If there's room.
I'd go upgrade.
Okay, upgrade.
He's a
It
good
sounds
ball
reasonable.
player.
He's a good ball player. Let's see, who have I? I'm just gonna grab Walker Jenkins. Nope, that's it. I will do prospects later. Cade Smith.
No thanks.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Really?
If you were us, where would you put him, Dan?
Upgrade.
For a reliever?
He's arguably the best reliever in the division. I know it's probably Estevez, but
I mean, it was Class A. But...
it was Class A. He got the
See, I think
Arguably
like,
has
this is more to
he
do
arguably
with
has the
like
best fastball in the sport.
I will always value starters and position players much more than a reliever.
I'd be comfortable with if there's room.
I put
think
him on
no
the
thanks
high
is-
end of if there's room. To be honest, I think he's really good.
My only
Yes.
thing with Cade Smith is I feel like last year he definitely had a little bit more juice because of what was going on. And so I wonder if that's going to be the same when he is the named closer, from pull to post.
Yeah.
All right, Seth Lugo.
Upgrade?
I'd say he's an upgrade. I think
Yeah,
he's better than most.
Can I be the fly in the ointment?
Please.
Go for it.
2 years as a history of a starter. He's like 34, 35.
Mm-hmm.
He's making 15 to 20. How much is he making this year, Sam?
That's a great question. I think it's somewhere in that.
It's not cheap though.
Yeah, it's not super cheap.
I would do if there's room, but I think there's also a pretty good chance that age catches up. I know he was converted reliever, but like age can catch up with him pretty quick.
Yeah. So okay, he's making 21 this year, and he's going to be. This is his age 36 season.
Yeah, I don't want to say no
I don't.
I agree
Yeah,
with Eric.
I don't
think
want
we
to
can put
if
it
there's
down.
room and on
there's
the
room,
lower
put him
end.
more
of
in
it.
the
Lower end.
lower end.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ours
Yeah.
don't cost anything. That's the difference.
All right.
I still think he's a good pitcher, by the way. I just
Yeah.
feel like I don't know. That 36 makes me nervous, as it should everyone.
All right, Riley Green.
Is it
No
a whatever?
thanks,
Is
because
he a
strikes
whatever?
out too much.
Oh,
I'm
It's
just
like,
kidding.
if there's room,
wow.
Really?
Upgrade. I think
I
upgrade.
feel like he's at least upgrade.
Yeah, I would agree.
Like he is.
He's good. He's really good.
Is he an ARB yet?
He just entered his first year.
Okay.
Well, let me ask
He's
you a
hitting
different question.
5,
Who would you
I think.
rather steal, Stephen Kwan or Riley Green?
Quan.
Really?
2 years of Quan versus. Well, I don't know. Longevity, I would take Green over Quan.
Because he's. Is this
He's
his
25.
first?
He's turning 26 this year. I'd take Green over Quan.
I also kind of feel like the things Quan does, not everyone can. I can find a power bat that hits 800, that hits an 800 OPS. I can't find a Gold Glove left fielder, and I can't find that much contact.
Yeah.
But that's just me.
Michael Garcia.
If there's
Upgrade.
room.
Who do I need
Slash,
to DFA?
who do I need to DFA?
He's a really good play.
He is very
I think-
How much do you believe in the breakout last year? Is really what the question is.
That's what I was just about to say.
Yeah, I kind of would put him in upgrade for.
Of all the players who break out for the Royals, how many of them stay consistent with it that are position players?
I mean, not many. Hunter Dozier had a really good year, remember?
Yeah, that's true.
I'm sure Mark Teahan batted over 250 once. So
I don't. That's a name from the past. You just said right there, Ty.
I was doing Immaculate Grid yesterday, and it came up.
Oh, nice.
All right, Luke Keeschel. I would put him in no thanks personally.
I could see with the injury, I wouldn't be offended with no thanks. I think that's a little harsh.
Would you be
I go with
offended
there's
by I
room.
don't know who he is? I don't know this name. I don't know what.
The only young productive hitter for the Twins in the second half, who also
Got it.
broke his forearm and had Tommy John surgery.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, I think
thanks.
we have to put someone in no thanks.
I think it's a little harsh, but I'm not offended by that.
Sorry, Luke.
All right, let's go. Pablo Lopez. Let's go. No
Upgrade. 2 years of team control, 21 million. I think
Agreed.
upgrade, but that's
Is he not a DFA? Would he not be a
I don't think he's that
upgrade
good.
for all?
I
of
don't
us?
think he's better than Joe Ryan.
Yeah.
Or I think they're very similar.
Interesting. Okay.
All right, Reese Olson.
No
I
thanks.
should put Will.
Yeah,
I should put
I'm-
Will Vest instead. To be honest.
Also, can we talk like these are the better players on team? So like even no thanks, this is not like it's an insult, but it doesn't need to be an insult.
Yeah. I couldn't think of another name for the tier. Let's see. We got
I mean,
Mike
Talkman is no thanks.
Yeah.
I
million.
think there's an argument for if there's room, but you know.
He's a $2 million outfielder that's 35 years
And
old.
apparently, for some of these owners, being cheap is important. So.
Yeah.
Gavin Williams. I feel like he'd be upgrade because he's got how many years left? 3 or 4.
See, I would like to
Three,
be
I'll check.
him to be more consistent. So I'm almost like higher end of if there's room, but
I can see
I think
that.
upgrade
Put him
makes
low
sense.
upgrade. Yeah.
All right, and then last one of the actual players, Colson Montgomery.
upgrade.
Who do I need to DFA?
Really? I was
Keep
thinking
in mind,
more of
you have 6 months, or you have a second half of a season to base off of.
yeah.
So even
I was
for
thinking
me,
more
I
of
would
their
go on the
improvement.
lower end of either
There's a
upgrade
particular
or
player that's on
if
the
there's room.
upgrade line, though, that I think he needs to be above. So I'd say, who do I need to DFA?
Who's that?
I think I would rather have Colson Montgomery than Riley Green.
Dang.
Really?
Really?
I wouldn't.
Well, I mean, he did just enter the majors, so I guess from a longevity standpoint,
You have 6 years of team control. Riley Green hits home runs or strikes out.
we don't know if that's going to be the only thing Colson does either.
But I'll kind of bank on the future. Like I'll take.
I don't disagree with you, but
I kind of like, and maybe this is just because we know more about Riley Green,
yeah.
and like Riley Green is a good player. Like, don't get me wrong. Like Riley Green is still a good player.
I'll
Yeah.
put him
Stick 'em
kind of in
there.
the middle there as a compromise.
Perfect, right next to Noah.
There we
That's
go.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Those
All
two
right,
can
so
hang out together.
I included the top prospects. I don't know if we wanted to do that. I don't know how that would work for.
Yeah, it's really difficult because like we're all gonna say if there's
Yeah.
room, but like
I mean, and I think only one of these guys has actually played in the bigs,
yep.
and
All right,
Carter
I-
Jensen.
So why don't we
played
do it
for-
this way? Do we
a month.
have like like we have to pick one of Kevin McGonigal, Travis Bazana, Carter Jensen, Brady Montgomery, or Walker Jenkins?
Yeah, if you had to pick one, which one would you?
I'm biased. I will pick Walker Jenkins because he's 21 years old. He is the youngest player in AAA. And once you get that young in AAA, like you are at least like a borderline major league caliber player. And he's like the number 5 universal global prospect. But also Kevin McGonigal, I think, is like 2 or 5. So like whatever.
Kevin McGonigal is number 2, and he's the best hitter in the minor leagues right now,
So.
probably. Just by just like pure hits and contact and that kind of thing. And
I
he played
think-
shortstop, which is a valuable position.
I think a top a top prospect catcher is really intriguing, so my vote would be for Carter Jensen.
That's also fair.
I can't not pick a local guy. So Carter Jensen.
Hopefully the next mainstay after Perez, right?
I think
Yeah,
it's Carter
hopefully.
Jensen then, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's three
Yeah, I guess we
votes.
Yeah. Put
But
him at the end
I
there.
think he put up almost a full win above replacement in like 30 games last year. So
Nice. Let's download this. All right, look at that. All right, do we want to call it for today? And then
I
maybe-
thought one more, but
One
like
more?
a few uniforms
let's
because
do uniforms. That's a quick one.
Okay. Yeah, hopefully this isn't too ugly. I think I kind of messed this up because I included some pictures twice. And yeah.
Let's
do you want-
Let's just
why
go.
don't
Like,
why don't we
current-
do it this way? We can do it pretty quick. Current and favorite historical.
Okay, I can't just add in the pictures, guys. These are the pictures that I got.
I think they're screen. Like I will go from there, but
This is what I have. I went with the ones from last year as best I could.
so
I
let's
couldn't
do
really-
current then.
Yeah,
all right, yeah.
that's all
Let's
I
just
got.
do what they currently are and do the 5 and rank those.
I want to just do the as a group.
Sure. So
Yeah.
Okay. White Sox as a group.
I want it at least a B tier, especially for our Friday night alts.
See,
they're really cool.
I think the White Sox. I would go A tier, possibly S tier, but I'm also like spoiler. You know who I'm going to go for. I love the pinstripes. I love the socks, like 1980s logo of it. I love like the retro socks with like the batter on top of it. I love the
Chris
black
Paul,
and
man.
silver.
There's a reason why the rapper industry chose us. So
I would, and also like just going off of like, so I live on the East Coast of the United States. When I go into like a lids or like just like a hat or like I don't know a uniform or like a sports store, the White Sox are always well represented, always above anyone in the division. The only thing that I think brings them down, and this might make Ty very sad, I think the Bulls' alternative uniform is not great or
They're
creative,
ugly. I don't like
and
them.
I also don't like the South Side City Connects.
I actually like the South Side. I think that's
I like
good.
the South Side ones. All right. I think they're better than the Bulls one. I'll put them in. Does the A sound good to everyone?
I'm okay with
I think
moving
so.
to a B.
All right. Then we got Cleveland. They have 5 uniforms with the. I like these. I just think my issue with these is always going to be the Twins and the Guardians ones look too similar to each other, and I just
So-
don't like it.
I think just in general, there are too many teams whose colors are white, red, and blue in
Mhm.
general. And I was really hoping with our rebrand that we would go away from that. And they decided to go the direction of familiarity. Obviously, they barely changed the name. They changed some letters in the name for crying out loud, which I like the rebrand. It's good overall in the long run. But with that, for this exercise, they're probably somewhere down the bottom. I'd probably say C. I also really like our City Connect. You can see Classe wearing it there in one of the photos. I
Yeah.
do really like that. It is different, and it did lean into more of the Art Deco, like 1920s thing they're doing with the rebrand. But that's a long-winded way of saying I think C is probably appropriate here, in my opinion.
I like C, and their City Connects are very nice.
Yeah.
Just to be the transparent, like just to be the wet blanket. I really, because it was such a lazy rebrand, I do not like Cleveland. Like I think they had such an opportunity to do something new. I would go D, but C is perfectly fine. They just did nothing different other than change the font a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
That's Tigers. They only have 3 uniforms, which bugs me. Give me a colored alternate jersey. Give me something with orange or navy, please, for the love of God, instead of just wearing the gray. Anyway, I think these go in A or S because both the home and away are very good. I know the City Connect probably drags it down, but I like
classic home and road jersey.
It's
I
classic.
love.
classic home.
I think it's A. I do think the Motor City jersey drags it down. But yeah, I think it's
See,
A.
I don't mind the Motor City though. Maybe
I
I'm just
like the
like
Motor
being
City.
contrarian, but
Big.
I don't mind
I also
the Motor
like
City.
the old style English D. Like I think that's cool.
Yes.
Yeah. So are we saying A? If this,
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. Kansas City. These are so good.
I
hate
really
the
like
navy
the powder
blue.
blues.
I think
really like.
Yeah.
A at minimum, maybe S tier for me.
I
Honestly,
think
I would put these in S. Honestly,
I would say S just because I think their alternates really put them a step above with the all powder blue, the City Connect, and even like the road like alternate.
Yes.
I think is also a pretty good jersey too.
It's just
So,
it's a basic uniform, but it's a very clean uniform.
mhm.
And then you have the powder blue, and then you have the Kansas City Monarchs when they wear those. Those are really nice jerseys.
Those are
too.
awesome.
yeah.
The one only thing I can think of negatively about the Royals uniforms is I didn't like the blue hat with the white panel in the front last year that they wore.
Mm.
I just wasn't a fan of that personally. I don't care for that. But
Yeah,
other than that, they're
most
great.
people don't like that hat.
Really? Okay.
Yeah,
All right, and then we got
and
the
most
Twins.
people don't like the QT logo on the sleeve either.
Yeah. Well,
Because it is obnoxious. It's big. Like
Uh-huh.
it's fine. They got the endorsement, so
It
whatever.
really, if they could have done a blue QT logo, that would have looked a lot better.
All
it's
right,
like when the
and then-
Milwaukee Bucks were sponsored by Harley Davidson. Like that,
Mhm.
that orange and black on the green uniform was awful. Sorry.
I love the
Go ahead.
powder blue. They just look so good.
That's if there's a team, like every team wants to wear a powdered blue uniform. The Royals were made to wear powder blue.
Mhm.
That is their color. If there's one team that wears it, it should be them.
All right, Twins. Personally, I don't like any of these uniforms that much, to be honest. I think the City Connects are ugly. The Twin Cities ones are the only ones I really like.
I'm biased because Minnesota would be my second city, but I would say B. I like them more than Cleveland.
Really?
I forget what the Twins City Connect looks like.
Oh,
These
it's not good.
ugly blue ones.
Oh,
These-
that. I just looked at it.
Can we separate out the City Connects? Because I don't like those either.
No, we had to include the City Connect with the Tigers ones, and with the White Sox.
I'd be comfortable with B.
Right.
I think they fall into the same trap the Guardians uniforms do, where it's blue, it's red, and it's white. And
I do
It's
like
fine.
the Twin Cities jersey. I like the sort of off white. I like it when teams wear an off white. I think that's a good look.
The cream colored it's a good look.
Yeah.
That's
I
the
will
only
say this
ones I like.
just as a homer, if you take out the Ripple City Connect jerseys, I think they're the best jerseys in the division, but that is me being a homer. I like them a lot. I like the new home jerseys, but I get it. I'm not going to fight it too much.
Is it C or B? Do we want to
B.
I'd say B.
B? E? Okay. They're my least favorite in the division, so obviously look at that.
Okay.
We don't have many trash uniforms. Sorry, I tried my best with these pictures, but it's just
So
really hard.
can we just do is there an honorable mention that somebody wants to hey, I really like this jersey from this year and I can look it up really quick and share it and we can just do a quick we don't have to do that either, but
If you want to. I mean, I didn't want to get two historical ones because it would just take forever, and I didn't know how many to include and all that.
can you just look up Twins powder blue? Because I really do like the Twins powder blue jerseys. I know that I just said the Royals should be the only ones wearing it, but the Twins had a retro powder blue a couple years ago that I really
Oh,
like.
I remember these. These were nice. Okay. Oh, sorry. Wrong. There we go. I do like these. These are nice.
So,
I really like the 1984 uniforms because these were the old school uniforms. These were so nice with the little orange stripe.
I like the D. Instead of the one that they're showing, I like the orange outline on the D. I like that a lot.
If you want an ugly uniform in the 70s, the Indians wore a red jersey. That was red jersey on red pants.
See,
It
I
looked
like the red
tomato.
jersey, but you're right. The red pants do make them hideous.
And see if I can find these. Is this what it
Those.
is? Oh my
Red-
god,
the-
they're so ugly.
The
I like the
red,
top.
the two guys next to him there.
These are
The blue,
yeah,
the blue one I think is better that you can see there.
the
That's
blue is-
okay.
The blue is nice. I really like the.
That's what they wore in Fever Pitch, or not Fever Pitch, Major League, right?
What are these?
No,
called?
they wore an early 90s uniform
Got it.
that was,
What,
was
these.
white.
I like these.
Yes, I like those a lot. That's why I think the
Yeah.
White Sox have I like those a lot. Agreed.
I also just like they're goofy, but the shorts things, those are so
Well, that's just
yeah.
Why you got to do this? Why?
Look at this.
this was just a bad decision. Can
It
you just
was.
look up like Twins home pinstripes? Because I think the Twins look really good in the pinstripe jerseys, but I'm not gonna.
It's the I
Like,
see.
I really like these jerseys. They're
Might
fine.
be the
I don't
good
want to
old
say like
days.
they're S tier, but I feel like they're. I like the
Definitely
pinstripe.
A.
I'm
Definitely.
not.
I like those.
I don't think.
I like
I'm
those
not
better
a
than the
huge fan
current.
of pinstripes. I think
Do
too
you
many
really?
teams do pins. I think too many teams do pinstripes, and I think like they're trying to copy the Yankees. It doesn't look good all the time. I don't know. This is what I think too many teams do it, and I don't think it looks good all the time.
There was also a year where the Twins had pinstripes, but it was the vest and the undershirt was a navy blue. I like that, but like that was also just a
Nope,
trend.
Yeah, this isn't getting me anything. All right. Sam, are there any old Royals uniforms that we could?
I mean, there was the weird period in the 2000s where they wore the black uniforms.
Oh, those were.
Oh, those were
awesome.
nice too.
Those
Oh,
were
Yeah,
kind
I
of
like
cool.
those.
But they do make me think of the Diamondbacks. They don't really scream Kansas City Royals. They are kind of
Yeah,
Did the Royals
yeah,
still have a vest one too? Like it was
Yes.
vest
yeah.
and then
They
brown
did.
skirt,
They
black
did have
sleeves.
like a sleeveless version of.
There
this
were a
as
lot of
well.
teams in like 2005
yeah.
to 2010 that wore the vest.
yeah. A lot
Yeah.
of teams did that.
Yeah.
Those like I can never decide if I like the vest look because I don't like. Does it look too goofy? I
It's a
don't
dumb
know.
look.
I do like
It's-
it. Does kind of scream like drunk league softball to me,
Mhm.
but I do like it.
Yeah.
I love the Kansas City Connects. The more I look at these, I'm like, these are so. Anyway.
Those are good.
Well, we're getting a new one, so
Oh, that's right. That's the thing. Yeah. All right. Look at that. Look at us.
yep.
I had fun with these. I hope I did an okay job of making them. I also there's always the biggest bowling name is Wendell is
Yeah.
I'll figure it out more as we go along. Get some.
This was a nice little experiment.
Yeah.
This one.
This was fun. I liked
Also-
through the rivalry matchups one. That was
Also, an evergreen topic, so we can always revisit these again. So hopefully,
Yeah.
everyone enjoyed this, or at least like if you are listening on audio, I do encourage you go to the YouTube channel and just kind of look at what we were talking about. I think we did a pretty good job of like explaining what we were talking about, but I do think we're at the 2 hour mark again. Somehow, despite the lack of roster moves, we continuously talk for 2 hours. So that's probably just our general runtime. So let us know what you think. If you have, like, I think they just said these are all public. I think what we'll do is we will post these like publicly. We'll post these on our social media just if you guys just want to just share in the fun. I think we're kind of on the same schedule. I think we're going to record next week, but also when I joke that Drew Romo was the biggest name in this week of acquisitions, I'm not kidding. So we're probably going to record, but if there's nothing that really going on and we can't think of something creative to talk about, we might take a week off, but we will probably on the Blue Sky just because that's the one I actually check. We'll let you all know what we're doing. So, but I think with that, I think that's probably the end for this week. Thank you all for listening. This was pretty fun, I thought. So have a good rest of your week.